Hi, Sarah. Ira here. I'm offering you here my audio feedback on your statement of belief. My hope is that these comments will help you as you move from this statement of belief towards your fuller theoretical articulation of what you take to be good argument and why. So, jumping right in, I think your point that to have a good argument, you've got to have a clear mind. I think that's really an interesting way to start. So basically, your focus throughout this first page or so seems to be very much about good argument requiring that the arguer be able to interface with their own emotional experience in a way that's useful, in a way that's clear, that has sound, calm reasoning. And so one of the things I'd be interested to hear more about is what you think mental clarity is or means. What is sound, calm reasoning? What is good reasoning? So if a good argument for you relies on good reasoning, strong backing, etc., what is that? Strong backing, solid backing, not just emotional, although you acknowledge that emotionality can be useful in an argument. So again, I just kind of want to challenge you really to articulate a little more fully what you take to be good reasoning or solid backing. In other words, how does good argument work? What kinds of things are good reasons and what kinds of things are not good reasons? How do good reasons fit together? What's your understanding of logic in this case maybe? And then similarly, I'd be interested to hear more about what you think understanding means. What does it mean to understand? You talk about that a little bit in terms of not having blinders on to the other person's points, not tuning them out. And you say that you need to go into an argument knowing that it's okay if you come out with a changed view and end up being wrong. So this is a sense of argument as really, on some level at least, having the possibility of personal change or self-fashioning in it, which is lovely. I mean, I have no objection to that. But I'd be interested to hear you say more about how that works and how understanding is involved in that and what, again, what understanding means in this context. Now, I'd also kind of want to challenge you a little bit because really the whole statement of belief is very much about interpersonal argument between mostly two people. So there's their side and your own, and that's what arguments are. And I think that's certainly true. A lot of our arguments are between two people. But also, a lot of our arguments are multilateral. They're between a lot of different people, especially online. And some of our arguments are kind of unilateral. They're like a televised address or a commercial or a Facebook post with the comments turned off. So not all arguments are necessarily interpersonal exchanges between two people. And so I'd be interested to hear how you would shift your definition or widen it or expand it to account for these other kinds of argument, a lot of which are the kinds of argument, of course, that occur in digital contexts. So, for instance, when you say when the other party makes a valid blow at your side of an argument, you should acknowledge their point and realize the flaws, which again, I want to be really clear. I love that. This is how I really sincerely try to live. And though, there's all these other scenes of argument where that's not possible, right? An advertisement can't do that if, you and I don't like the advertisement. You and I just don't like the advertisement, right? So it doesn't have a way of responding to us. Does that mean that an advertisement cannot be good argument? And maybe it can't be. I don't know. That's really your call here. And why? And if it can, how does that have you change your definition a little? As you say, it is indeed surely way easier to have bad arguments than good. like to hear ourselves talk. And here, though, I wonder, what about situations, even when there's two people, where they don't both have the same goal? Can a good argument happen if only one person wants a good argument, if the other person just wants to spout off? Can you make a good argument if you're talking to somebody who themselves doesn't want to make a good argument in your definition? So, like, I guess what I'm asking you to think about there is a little bit, what about these many cases in our lives where the conditions are not necessarily such that everyone involved is equally open to understanding, to calm, clear-headed thinking, so on and so forth? Is it still possible for somebody in those situations to make a good argument, even if their interlocutor isn't? And if so, how does that shape your definition, or how does that make you think about this more? Then by the end, when you talk about the argument, something that's been on your mind and heart for a while, that is most likely something you can argue well and thoroughly. I'd want to know more about, what it means to argue well, and then what it means to argue thoroughly. So what is thorough argument? And why is that good? Why does it matter? How do these different pieces fit together? And, with all of this in mind, when you say that for good argument to work, you must be able to understand the other side of an argument and admit the flaws in your own side. I wonder, so when you say the other side of an argument, of course, a lot of arguments, like I mentioned, are multilateral. There's not just one other side. But what about if you don't understand the other side, but you do understand your audience? Can that be good argument? Also, all of this is very much kind of ethical and oriented towards goodness in the argument itself. What about effectivity? Does that matter? What about situations where effectivity and ethics are maybe at odds? Is one of those more important than the other for a good argument? Why? If not, why not? When they are in tension, how do we negotiate between them? How does good argument negotiate between effectivity and ethicality? Or does it matter? Can a good argument be an argument that's actually still totally ineffective? If so, why? If not, why not? Anyways, these are the kinds of questions. I hope that as you move from the statement of belief to your rigorous theoretical essay, that you'll kind of keep these in mind and cogitate on them. I also hope you won't hesitate to reach out, make an appointment, or come see me in office hours. I really look forward to reading your work going forward and to talking more soon. Thanks a lot.